I know the Grammys is going on right now. So I hope you come in and join us for a little fun today. Let me turn my screen back on here. And yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. Weekend went fast. Getting over this little cold everybody had before it's going around is pretty nasty. But nevertheless, everything is good. And we still kicking it. We still kicking it. Let me make sure like my little mic is up. I get happy over the small things, man. I finally got my mobile live, so now I can be live and connect with everybody on my mobile device. So thank you for subscribing and following me. I appreciate you. So let's just keep it moving, though. Super happy today, though. Super happy today. I feel a little better. Feel a little better. All right. Today, episode 3. We're talking about trusting your process. And this is going to be a great discussion. Believe me when I tell you this. I had a good time, excuse me, just putting this together. Super fun time putting this together. So I'm excited to share this with you. And I hope you enjoy it. Real talk. I hope you enjoy it. So welcome back. Episode 3, Basement Talk. Today we're talking about trusting the process. Before I get started, though, don't forget to subscribe to the page, right? Subscribe to the page so you can join in and tune in on all the nice topics that we discussed in the basement. The basement is cracking. All right. So join in and stay tuned in. A special shout out today. My mother, actually yesterday was her birthday. So Teresa Stills Tribe, happy birthday, Mom. I love you. My cousin Jerome, his birthday is tomorrow. Today or tomorrow. I'm getting old, so I forget these things, but still special shout out to him. February is a busy month for birthdays. Wow. A lot of family birthdays in February. So definitely be broke this month. All right. So now let's bring it right back. All right. So this episode may make you think about the things that you wanted to do in life that you never attempted to start. And it may also make you think about some things that you started that you never got a chance to finish. Right? So 2 things, right? Trusting the process. So as simple as it may sound, this is a very difficult process. So in my personal opinion, I feel like it's a mental issue, right? A lot of thinking, thought process that gets in the way of trusting your process. And what I mean by trusting your process is like the things that you had said, like we dream big when we're younger. And then we realize that, you know what, I can't live out my dream. And one of the reasons why I think we can't live out our dream is because we don't trust the process in making that dream come true. Or we lose sight, we lose focus. So we forget about it. We say, oh, we can't do it. We surround ourselves around negative people, which I'll get into a little bit later. And we just kind of just let it go. We let it go. We don't want to trust the process of being great, right? Or doing something that you wanted to do as a younger child, or even when you get older. Dreams never stop. It's never too late. Different paths you may have to take, but it's never too late to keep dreaming, right? Come on, somebody work with me here a little bit. This is going to be fun. So, we come across things like support issues, relying on others, lack of confidence, lack of trust, acceptance, scared of failure, right, etc. That list goes on and on. Trusting the process. So what does that mean to trust anything, right? What does it mean to trust anything? The definition of trust is a firm belief in reliability, truth, and ability and strength of someone or something. Now, like they say at church, look at your neighbor and say self, right? This topic can cover just about every aspect in life, but today's discussion is all about self. So the question is, as I get a little comfortable here, Do you believe in yourself? Do you trust the process? Right? Ask yourself again, right? Do you believe in yourself, and do you trust the process? So, like, many of us fall into this category where we fall into the category of letting others dictate how we should operate in our own life. So we let them dictate how we should operate in our lives instead of us dictate how we should operate. Right? We surround ourselves around people who only give out their so-called advice but never see your vision. Right? They never encourage or engage in anything you have your heart set on. They just talk. I think you should do this, and because it'll work better this way. Like, come on, man. Like, you don't got nothing else to say. You're not gonna sit down with me and plan it or lead me. You're just gonna talk to me and then be gone. I see you. So we surround ourselves around those type of people, and we look for so much more, and they're not giving us nothing else, just mouth, right? Now, hear me out when I say this, right? Let's not get it twisted, right? Because I know that this can get out of hand and easily, because, I don't want to say, we all want to do things, but there's a way of doing it, especially when you get older, right? So don't sit here. Most of us are grown. We're grown adults, and so this comment that I'm getting ready to say is not for like the young Thundercats that run around here with no life and no responsibilities yet. But people, if you have families and responsibilities to tend to, please, by all means, make sure that that's the top of your priority list right now before you go chasing a dream, right? You got to make sure the people around you are okay first, and then you can continue, right? It doesn't mean your dream has to stop. It just means you got to detour and make sure that everybody's okay, and then figure out a game plan so you can get back on track, right? That's part of your process. That's the choice that you made to get to where you're at right now. So you have to take care of that before you can continue on to that dream, but your dream never stops. Ooh, this is going to be good. I can feel it. Basically, what I'm saying is, don't be 50 years old out here trying to be a rapper and you drop everything that you're doing. And now you out here blowing through family money, trying to travel to go sing your songs you wrote, but you can't pay no bills at the house. The family's struggling, no income, maybe one income, and you just living with your gold chains and a couple of CDs that you put out or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So please don't do your family like that. Let's use our brain a little bit, especially for your old cats, because it is some out here, right? Before you know it, you won't even have a pot to piss in. So you probably want to make sure you on point with everything that you're doing before you chase a dream. But the dream never stops, right? Okay, so I got that out the way. Now I'm going to discuss a couple things that held me back from continuing my success and following my dreams up until this point. Right. And this is pretty exciting. It's something that I always wanted to share. I really didn't know how to share it and put it out there. But it's so important to me. Right. And I kind of want everybody to take something that's important to them and, really think like, hey, am I going to go forth with it? Can I still do it? How important is it to you? How important is it to you? So for me, about a year ago, I started writing a book called The Real You, right? About 4 chapters into that, I went cold turkey. I thought to myself, man, people really don't care about my life and how I grow up. Like, why would they? Why would they care about me? They everyone has their own story. See, I was already doing my podcast and streaming all over. And I thought to myself, man, that's enough. Like, I'm really doing too much, right? I'm really doing too much. Basically, I let fear hold back something that I always wanted to do. And that was write a book. Not only did I want to write a book, but I wanted to be a voice for those who grew up thinking they had to be like their parents and live how they wanted to live and follow in their footsteps, etc. Right? I wanted to express my feelings about people who was predetermined, people who predetermine other people's lives even before their lives begin. Right? So it's basically, a child is born and here's their parents telling them what this child gonna be like before this child is even walking, talking, anything, right? Oh, my son's going to be a lawyer because I'm a lawyer. My son's going to be a football player because I'm a football player. My son's going to be an awesome drummer because I'm a drummer, and that's the way I'm going to raise him. And I wanted to get the point across that, that shouldn't be like that. Everyone has their own purpose here. And if my child don't want to play football or the drums or sing or be a lawyer, they don't have to be. They don't have to be. That ain't my choice. So whatever God has for them, that's for them, right? And so I wanted to get that point across because there's so many people out there like that. And I just wanted to be a voice for them, right? Be yourself and be happy and be excited about it, right? But for me, I just wanted to express my feelings about people who, just predetermine other people's lives. So the fear of rejection took over me mentally. So, and I didn't want to embarrass my own family in any type of way. I really had to sit back and say to myself, like, this is not about them or whoever is trying to judge me anyway. It's about me. Like at this particular time, it's all about me. This is something that I wanted, and I shouldn't have lost the focus on what I was set to do. I have a few friends who wrote books, so I should have leaned on their shoulders. I should have picked their brains a little bit on what I needed to do to be successful and what I need to do to stay focused. Right? Ask yourself, how about you? Right? Have you ever let fear stop your process? Right? I'm gonna keep saying trust in the process because that's the whole focus of this conversation is trust in the process. Right? In that process, right? Even though I hit a bump, I still should have made my way right back to writing that book because there was purpose behind it. But I let fear dictate whether or not I was going to continue. And clearly I stopped. So it won. Fear won me. Right? It won me. Right? What about you? Have you ever let fear stop your process? If so, write that down. Circle back to it later on, right? See if you can capture that. See if you can overcome that fear and get past that situation and be able to continue on something that you really wanted to do. Right? I kick myself sometimes because I know that project would have been special and still could be special to me, number one, and special to others. Right? Here's something that's crazy, right? It's so weird to me, but here's something that keeps resurfacing, and I don't know if God was just trying to tell me something. As a matter of fact, I know he tried to tell me something, to be honest with you. But I was too busy pushing back and being disobedient, right? And I'm okay saying that. Like, this is an honest podcast, and sometimes for me, I'm a spiritual person, so if God tell me to do something, I'm human, right? I'm almost like, what's a good book? Maybe Moses, right? I watched that Moses testimony or the story on Netflix like, I don't know, 3 times, right? And I'm going, man, I think I'm kind of like Moses. Like, God be telling him to do something, and I just be like, nah, man, I can't do it like that. I don't want to do it like that. I'm gonna need some help, And this kind of the story that I'm about to tell you, like, the more I think about the book of Moses, is the more it's kind of related to this story I'm about to share with you. But just keep resurfacing, right? And I just keep pushing back and not listening. So I promise I'll make this story short, but I got to explain it the right way so you'll understand where I'm coming from. So before my grandmother Jennings passed away, she said, Brian, God said that You're going to start speaking to people and they're going to listen to you. I said, man, if y'all could have seen my face, right? Because for people who personally know me, and I joke with my grandma 24/7, right? So I was like, come on, man. Like, don't start. Like, my grandma was big in church. She was a church mother. Like, but I always talked to her like I talk to y'all, right? And I told her straight out the gate, like, man, I ain't trying to hear that, right? Yeah, I am not trying to. I said, Grandma, go on now, like, go on somewhere with that. I'm not gonna be no preacher or none of that. That's not my desire. She laughed at me. She said, okay, baby, we'll just see what God say. And that scared me a little bit because my grandma prayed hard. She was deep in spiritual woman. She say stuff like that. You know, you sleep with like one eye open, be like, God, you know, I ain't mean to mess with grandma like that. I ain't, you know, I'm sorry. But it made me think a little bit. But at the same time, I still was not trying to hear God. I was hearing grandma, right? So some time passed a little bit with that. And my cousin's wife was hospitalized, and she had some head procedures done. And you know, not putting her personal business out there on the street, but you know, she had some things done. She had an operation done on her head, and she said, "Well, Brian, when I was underneath, right, I was asleep, because I went over and visited her when she came back home, and she was like, when I was asleep, I had a dream about you." And I said, "Why everybody having dreams about me?" You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I gotta stop all this dreaming. And I said, well, what was it? What was it, cuz? Let me know. She said, I was laying in the bed. I had a dream that I would speak and reach others. Now, that's the second time. That's the second time somebody told me they had a dream about me speaking to people. So then I you know, now I'm worried a little bit. Concerned. Like, okay, man, like, this is kind of freaky. Okay, well, I told her the same thing. Like, I ain't, you know, I ain't gonna be no preacher. I don't know how I'm gonna speak to people, you know, and for me, like, I've been up in front of a lot of people before. I'm a drummer, so I've been on a big stage. I played in front of thousands of people before. It don't bother me, right? But to speak, I was like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it, right? So, long story short, my grandmother passed away. My cousin, she's great now. She's a gem. Camilla's, oh my God, she's a gem. I played the drums for my homeboy, Jay Kirby. I went to school with him. And he's one of the pastors over there at One Voice Church. And so I was playing for him Sunday, and the spirit was good. It was cool. And you know, we went up for prayer, and we were just chilling, and he goes, "Come on, man, I'm gonna pray for you." I was like, "Bet. Everybody need prayer. I ain't ashamed of that. Put them hands on me, man. Let's go. Pray for me." And he said, "Bro, there's something inside of you that people need to hear. It's in you." Man, I started tripping in. I was like, no way, come on. Can we stop this? Like, and not even putting things together or even thinking about it, everything is coming around full circle. This is crazy because my desire right now is to help me first, as I always say, but to speak to others. So now I got the cold chills, right? Like, I'm sitting here going, this is crazy. Trust that's a process. It took me a longer process to realize something that I already had love for, that I was in the process of doing it. But this is 10 years later. It's just starting to click right now. I'm not saying I need this big platform. I don't know where this podcast will lead me. I don't know who I'm reaching, but I just know I feel good doing it. I'm supposed to be doing it, and I like doing it. And it's growth for me, and all I can do is hope and pray that it's a growth for somebody else. That's the joy of doing my podcast. I love doing this. So it's like God led me to through another direction because I didn't want to take direct information from a woman of God. He said, okay, just like he told Moses. Moses didn't want to talk to the people. Moses said, let me have my brother, let me bring somebody with me to do the talking for me. I do the work like you tell me, but I don't like to talk in front of people, so I'll bring somebody else with. So what God did for me was, okay, now I just let people come up and tell you that the same thing I've been trying to tell you for all this time, and then you'll do it. Eventually, you'll do it. That's crazy. That's crazy. But that's trust in the process, right? Now, hear me out when I say this. Even though I got to this point, this process wasn't just about fear of change, but it also come with judgment, the lack of support, right? When you start going through changes in life, people only remember the worst of you instead of accepting the fact that you are in the middle of your process, right? When you go through change, people don't want to accept your change. They don't want to believe that you feel a certain way or you change the way you view things or life or that you're trying to do better, anything. They don't want to accept your process, which if you're weak, and most of us are, right? You fall back because you're like, well, you know what? Don't nobody really care. Nobody really care about me changing. So I'll just fall back and do whatever I was doing before and screw my dreams. Screw what I want to stand for. I'll just be the person everybody want me to be because it's easy and it's accepted by everybody. Ain't that weird? You can be a jerk in the world. You can be a prick. Anything. They'll accept you. You do good or you change. No. Yeah. That ain't him. That ain't her. Ain't that horrible? That's how the world operate. That's exactly how the world operate. Right? So, like I said, people go through changes and they only remember the worst instead of accepting you for the fact that you're in the middle of your process. Right? People are still going to disagree and will always have something to say about your dreams and goals in life. You just have to remember, like, they don't see your dream how you see it. Sometimes you can't even explain it well enough for them to see it. That's my problem. I have tons of ideas. My brain never stops. Never. You can ask my wife. They never stop. I can't stop. I got so many big ideas and I want it all on the table, but I can't explain it. And when you can't explain it, it doesn't make sense to anybody else. It doesn't make sense. Right? So you just have to go through it and trust the process and just let others experience the outcome. That's what I got out of it. Here's a crazy analogy, right? I thought about this. Each week, or sometimes twice, depending on how big your family is, you take your garbage outside, right? You place it in the bins for garbage pickup. After we take the garbage outside, we come back in, replace the bag we took out with a fresh bag only to refill it back up with new garbage. This is about to get good, I promise you. Now pause. Pause your thinking cap for a minute. I promise you I'm taking you somewhere. Just hold on tight with me, right? About 2 days ago, I cleaned the garage. I found an empty garbage bin. Matter of fact, it's sitting right next to me right now, right? I found an empty garbage bin. We haven't used it maybe once for leaves. I bought it once, put the leaves in there. One day was a lot of leaves outside. We used it. That's it. Sitting in the garage empty. I brought it in the house and I thought to myself, you know what? I'll use this downstairs. I have band practice down here. The laundry, empty bottles and stuff can go in there, whatever, right? We have a bigger garbage down here. Since moving that bin into the house, I haven't used it once. So I was staring at this empty bin, and I started comparing this empty garbage bin to my life. Trust in the process. Hear me out. We talked about being being fearful, negative people, the environment, encouragement. Check this out. Check this out. Because I know you're thinking, dude, where are you going with this? See, we fill our garbage, our mind, our body, our souls, weekly with trash, fear, negativity, bad decisions, disobedience, the wrong people. Each and every week, we replace the trash bag. We take the trash bag out, only to do the same thing over again the following week. But I noticed when I brought the empty bin inside to the basement, it's still empty. There's no need to replace the bag because nothing was placed inside of it. There was no fresh bag put in this empty garbage can at all. Do you see what I'm saying now? Like when you put the fresh bag, when you put in a fresh bag, it allows trash to enter into your garbage bin. But when your bin don't have no bag, it's free from all garbage. Let me make it simple. Your thoughts that stopped you before can't stop you no more. People who doubted you can't doubt you no more. Negativity no longer exists. Fear is no longer an option because you have no bag to hold the trash. Therefore, you can trust your process and watch your progress. That was cold. I don't care what nobody tell me. Right? Matter of fact, just let the church say amen. No, I'm just joking. Right? But on a serious note, do you understand what I'm saying? If we allow people or things to get in our way, right? That interferes with our process and our progress, right? You got to surround yourself around people who's going to keep your process going. But you do have to trust the process. It's not easy. You have to keep going and going until you make it. It's a dream. It's a goal. It's never given. Everybody who's living out a dream right now, it wasn't handed to them. You still got to work for it. Yes, you're going to be hit with all kind of negativity and everything. But what are you doing with that? Are you storing it in that trash bag? Are you putting it in the garbage bin? Or are you going to empty out that garbage bin and keep it empty and prevent that from destroying what you're trying to build? I'm telling you, just think about that a little bit. Right. In conclusion, I told you I wasn't going to keep you too long, and I like to keep everything around like 30 minutes or so. But in conclusion, really just trust your process. Like this, I use those few things just as examples, right? I wasn't getting too deep with it. For me, I really wanted to write that book, and I'm going to write it, right? I still got to work on some things to get my mind set so I can continue on doing what I need to do because there's purpose behind that, right? And I'm going to succeed. That's my new mindset. But that was just something minor that I tapped into. This can go for relationships too, because that too is a process, right? That may take years and years, but it's a process. If you want it to work, you'll trust the process, right? And that's not easy, right? That's not easy. Even for those who've been together for 500 years, they had issues, problems, everything you can think of. Especially now, like relationships ain't built like how your grandparents' relationship was built back in the day. Everybody just get up and go now. Like it is what it is. We being real, right? That's how it is. So if you want it to work, you'll try. In some cases, it won't, and then you got to make a decision, right? This also goes, it goes the same thing at work. Like you want growth at work. That's the same way. You want to move up, there's a process to do that as well. Like, how bad do you want to advance? Right? Are you willing to earn that higher up position? What are you willing to do? Get certificates, maybe even go back to school. Are you ready for that process? Excuse me. Are you ready for that process? Like, if you want your dream, go and get it. You got to have the mindset, right? You got to have the mindset to do it. Have a realistic game plan, which is a must, because again, like I mentioned before, everybody has to be taken care of if you have a family in order for your dream to work. You can't leave. When you get to that point, you can't leave people out. Now, if you're young, don't have nothing going on, and you got the ability to go after a dream at an early age, which I would advise, then do it. There's nothing stopping you. But if you're older like I am, right? You got responsibilities. You got children. You got family. You got bills. A lot of things going on. You still got to work before you get to wherever you need to be. That's priorities. More important, right? Basically, look, don't let anyone and anything distract you from achieving your dream. Trust the process that goes along with it and conquer it. That's deep. I wanted to share that with y'all just because I see a lot of people out here who just give up. Right? A lot of people give up on life and they just want to throw in the towel. They had hopes and dreams of being people. I listen to people blame their children for not being able to be a star. Or, they blame other people around them for not being successful. And it's really all just you, right? It's me, right? Listen, I manage an online clothing store. I work a regular job, right? I play in a band. I do podcasts. I got my hands full. Trust me, I need to sit down. But my mind and my goal is tying this all together and making it one big, huge thing, right? And that's my goal. And I'm going to stick with it until I conquer it and write that book. So, listen, trust and believe that everything you think of, and when you put your mind to it, you can and will do it. Trust the process. Listen, man, it's your boy, Brian Jennings. I'm so glad you listened to the Basement Talk podcast. Keep tuning in, and I'm going to holla at all my peeps later on. Listen, one love. Peace out.